All right, hey guys, I just received my Amazon Halo band. So I actually haven't opened the box yet and I wanted to do it on camera, but this is a size small and I got it in blush rose gold for the fabric band. So let me open this up. All right, we finally get to open this up. This is what it looks like when you first open the box. And then after we take this out, we've got instructions, and then we have the charger on the very bottom. So, ooh, I'm bad. Put it inside the charging clip with the button facing out, which, wow, okay, sorry, very slippery. Basically, it should look like this. So you see, it's like this. And then I'm gonna need to plug this in really quick to my computer. So according to the instructions, it says that a couple seconds after you plug it in for charging, a white light will indicate that it is ready to pair. Okay, so now I go to the Amazon Halo app, which I have already downloaded up here. And I need to follow the instructions to set up my device. Okay, so now I go to the Amazon Halo app, which I have already downloaded up here. And I need to follow the instructions to set up my device. So for weight, this one's a little tricky because I don't own a scale at home. So I'm gonna estimate 105. All right, so I have the band on. I am right-handed and I decided to put it on my left because I'm anticipating that since I use my right hand for my mouse, and if I ever wanted to write stuff down, I don't want it to be getting in the way, clashing with hitting my wrist along the desk. So I figured having it on my left would be more out of the way. But also another thing specific for me is my wrist is extremely small. So if I wore it right here, this band would pretty much be sticking out on top because of how much tighter I need to wear it. But also for a background, I don't wear anything. I don't wear jewelry. I don't wear any sort of accessory. I've never worn rings. I've never really worn bracelets. I just wear nothing. So this is gonna be really different to have this on all the time. I'm imagining that I'm gonna choose to charge this when I shower. I think most people will probably choose to charge it around that time. I think my phone said it's at about 77% right now, and I'm curious to see how long it's gonna last. Some people were saying that it only lasts a day before they need to charge it if they leave tone on. And I believe I'm gonna be leaving tone on for now because I just received it. I need to test out all of these features. So I'm gonna be wearing this for a week and I will report back on how I feel about it at the end and see if it's worth keeping. Hi guys, so I have been wearing my Amazon Halo for about a week now, and originally, before I bought it, there was a lot of mixed reviews. It has, I feel like, less than a 3-star on Amazon right now, but I was still really intrigued by it because I feel like I'm a middle of the pack active person and I've never wore a fitness band before. I did have a Fitbit in the very, very beginning when they first introduced it, but I did not like that because I know that there was a feature where it would alert you to get up and walk around if you've been sitting for too long, and I think you were probably able to turn that off, but I hated that feature. I found that very annoying because my lifestyle during the day, I would say I spend most of my time varying between like sitting for a long period of time, and then I would also be walking Riley, maybe go for a bike ride or going for a walk myself. But I have long periods of being stationary, and then I have my spurts of being active, and I like it that way. I don't want to have to be told to get up every time I've been sitting for like 45 minutes. So first off, when it comes to the Halo, the feature of tracking your activity, obviously I really like that. One thing that I found very surprising though is that my personal workouts, I have been watching P-Volve videos for my workouts for at least 2 years now, and when I do those workouts, I feel like most of the time my heart rate isn't that high. It tracks my workouts as light most of the time, and occasionally my heart rate goes into moderate. So there is a feature in the app where you could add an activity, and there is an option for fitness training that at first I decided to add that in for my workouts. That way I could get more points out of it, but I decided to not do that because I like the idea of the band categorizing my activity based on my heart rate instead of me just being like, yeah, I worked out for 30 minutes, all of that should be moderate. I decided to not do that. So I feel like for me, I'm gonna really enjoy looking back at my activity and seeing how it varied throughout the days. So next is the sleep tracker. And that is another one that I have never used before. So I'm always really, really excited to see my score after I wake up. So there have definitely been some days where I would wake up feeling pretty good and be surprised that I would have a mediocre score, like maybe 60 or something, because I only got 6 hours of sleep. But perhaps I was lucky and I woke up at a good moment, which made it so that I felt good even though my sleep quality maybe wasn't that good. Another thing that I do find a little bit confusing, and it's probably something that I'm not gonna even focus on, is time to fall asleep. His little paws are so cute. Time to fall asleep I find very confusing because there are definitely times where I'm in bed for hours, unable to fall asleep, tossing and turning, being on my phone, watching videos, this and that, and I don't really understand how the band tracks time to fall asleep. Alright, so my time to fall asleep on the app has always been under 30 minutes, and I just want to be able to understand better how the band decides to track that number before I even put any more thought into it or value whatever number that it tells me. So the sleep tracker, I just mainly like to focus on seeing how many times I'm awake, my REM, my light, and my deep, and I feel like I actually get a fair amount of REM sleep. I actually wake up a lot during my sleep, not actually like conscious me being aware of awake, and more so just the light moments where it tracks a couple seconds, and it says that these are moments that are so brief that you don't even remember them happening. So in my scores, there's a lot of that happening, but I do like the sleep tracker because I feel like sleep, especially someone like me who used to be a pretty hardcore gamer, that is something that you would really sacrifice a lot when it comes to wanting to do more and get more done in your day. You feel like, let me just keep pushing when I'm going to decide to sleep, and then you end up sleeping for like 5 to 6 hours. And I know for me, nowadays, I do value sleep. I get excited to go to sleep, especially when the next day I get to sleep in, because I just feel like my day ends up being so much better when I get good sleep, especially when it comes to duration. So I do try to make sure that I get at least 8 hours a day. 7, I guess, is the more ideal and realistic, but I feel like being able to track it with a score will also encourage me to prioritize it and make sure that I get good duration as well as good quality. Okay, so the tone feature. Truthfully, the tone feature never interested me, and after 2 days I decided to switch it from more tone, which gives you 1 day of battery life, to less tone, which should give you 2 days of battery life. And the main reason for that is just because of my personality. I am somebody who doesn't care about what other people think of me, so if I feel that way, why would I care about how I sound to other people? I really don't care. And honestly, I feel like when it comes to being around people, I like honesty. So if someone actually doesn't like the tone of voice that I'm using with them, I would like for them to let me know, especially when it's a moment where I'm not actually trying to be a dick to them. So yeah, the tone feature, I don't like it, and I will probably avoid even looking at it much. I don't find that information useful to me whatsoever. Another thing that is also prominent in the app is labs. I personally have not really done any of the labs. I think eventually I will probably be interested in doing some of them, but so far I don't really find any of them intriguing enough for me to get started as well as commit myself to, because I feel like I've already done and stuck with a lot of the routines that I do. So I do pretty much try to work out every single day, or as close to every single day as possible. So I say realistically I work out like 5 days a week, I do the P-Volve workouts, so they're less intensity, but I feel like they work really well for me. I like those exercises and I enjoy doing them. And then I walk Riley, occasionally I go for bike rides. I feel like I just have a good balance between being active and being like a big ass lazy person on a couch or sitting in front of my computer for hours at a time. I just have like the best of both worlds for me, I guess. One thing when it comes to the app that I don't like is the fact that it's slow. And that's something that I'm not entirely sure why it runs that way, because the thing is, after your band syncs to the app, it should have all of the data there. So while the app is running and while you're using it, it shouldn't be trying to connect with your band anymore, which should mean that it shouldn't be running as slow as it does. So the main things that I notice is just anytime you're switching the days, or actually, yeah, I feel like just in general, when you're using the app, it's slow. There's a delay on everything. When I switch between week or today for my activity tracker, there's a delay. When I switch between days for looking at my data, there's a delay. So I don't like that. I really hope that's something they fix, because I don't feel like that should be a problem, especially because, yeah, like I said, all the data is pulled already. So it's literally just displaying numbers, and that should not run slowly. Another thing to keep in mind is I purchased the pink fabric version. So this material is definitely going to get dirty fairly easily. I can already see some brownness on the bottom of my band. Eventually, maybe I will switch to a different material version, like a sports band version that they have, where it will, even if it gets dirty, it won't be as obvious. But for now, I feel like it's not dirty enough for it to bother me. And if it does, I will try to wash it some way and see. Maybe there will be a way for it to be like very easily cleaned, and then I'm fine with using this. There are a few times when I'm trying to fall asleep where I notice that it's there. I feel like it will just take a little bit of adjusting. So I like to sleep on my side. So I also like to put my hand under the pillow. So if I want to sleep on this side, then that means that there's going to be added pressure on the band here, and it's going to push into my wrist, and maybe that will be a bit more uncomfortable. So I'm just experimenting with that. But for me, at least so far, I haven't found this incredibly annoying that it's driving me crazy. I think it's okay. There are times where I am varying between having the band on tighter and a little bit looser. But when it comes to it being looser, I want to make sure it's not too loose where it's not reading the things properly. But I was also a little bit worried about how it would affect me wearing long sleeves. But honestly, I'm a little surprised, because this top that I'm wearing right now, I would say is rather form-fitting. Like, it's not loose to the point of this not being completely pushed against, but I feel like it doesn't bother me with how it sits on a top like this. I'm a little surprised at how well I've transitioned into wearing it, and I have actually been enjoying using it, which is good, because when I read all of the extremely negative reviews on Amazon, so first off, let me mention something that's actually a big deal for some people, but not a big deal at all for me: no screen. And I like that it has no screen, because I don't want an Apple Watch. I don't want to manipulate and mess with this. I want this to just track, and then I'll go to my phone if I want to use the screen. But yeah, just in general, for me, I don't like any screen gadget that's not a computer, if that makes any sense. So I don't like laptops. I don't like tablets. I actually don't like cell phones, but it's kind of necessary to use nowadays. I don't like manipulating anything with a touch screen. I feel like it's terrible. A couple years ago when I was using tablets, I purchased a tablet and I forget why. I sold it. I must have sold it because I don't have it anymore. But anytime I was typing on there, I fucking hated it, because I type really fast on a keyboard. So if I'm typing on a stupid touch screen, it's slower, it's uncomfortable to me, and I just don't like it. The cell phone is the exact same thing. The fact that they made it an entire touch screen, I don't like that. I used to love texting on cell phones when it was T9. I don't know if people remember that at all, but I used to have a cell phone. I don't remember what model or name it is anymore, but I can text without looking at it. I would text in school under my desk because I would memorize the order of how the words came out. So hard to explain, and maybe I should have spent too long explaining it. But anyways, T9 made it very easy to text fast. You don't even have to look at your screen. That's amazing. On the other hand, all these other things with screens, some of them or most of them are meaningless to me. So I am glad it has no screen because I don't want to be doing this ever. So they do have a subscription service for this product after 6 months. First 6 months is free. I need to double check what the subscription offers because I'm pretty sure sleep and activity is not under subscription. Tone, I believe, is. So it's good that Tone is because I don't care about it. And maybe eventually that means that I'm not going to be paying for subscription. But this product is $100 on Amazon right now. Since I applied to be in early access, they gave me a discount code, so I was able to buy it at, I think it was $65 to $70 instead of $100. But I honestly like it. I look forward to seeing what my progress is throughout the day. I look forward to seeing my sleep score. I just feel like it works for me. So I am really glad that I decided to try it out just because everyone was reviewing it so poorly. But, oh yes, another thing that is actually pretty important, maybe to other people, not so much for me, but it has a feature to track your body fat. And another thing about me is that I have never weighed myself. I don't own a scale. I've never owned a scale. So truthfully, the number that I put in my phone is an estimate. It could be off, which could throw out my body fat percent score. So I'm sorry, it's not accurate, but I am pretty impressed with how it scans your body based off the picture that you take. And I do think that that feature will be very useful for other people. I just think with my attitude and how I've always been, I don't focus on numbers as much. I kind of go by looks instead. So that feature is also meaningless to me, but I like having it, and I would also probably keep up with taking a picture of my body every 2 weeks just to see what kind of changes are happening. But with my lifestyle and just with the fact that I definitely cut back on food when I notice changes in my body that I don't like, I don't foresee myself having anything too drastic, but still being able to track it is a good thing. So overall, I would say I do really like the product, and I'm not going to say that I recommend it because this review is just my opinions on it. I like it, and I feel like if the features on it interest you enough, I would encourage you to try it out for yourself. I think that's something that's really important. Try not to let other people's opinions on it sway how you would feel, because everybody is different. So your reception to a product will be different than somebody else, and maybe try not to let somebody else's negative opinion prevent you from trying out something that could end up working out very well for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.